Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the LadyGang Quickie. I am Becca here with Jack and Keltie.
Hello. We're in the pods.
We're in the pods. We have a special treat for those of you who watched Love is Island reunion. Love is Island. Wow. We were just talking to Ariana. That's why Love Island.
Love is Island.
Love is Blind. What an interesting collab.
That would be a great collab. Yeah.
Okay, so the reunion just aired.
Yes.
Initial thoughts, 1 out of 10. Because usually those reunions, there's some big info that has, because it's been about a year.
Yeah.
So usually something has come out.
They don't do the reunion until a year after?
It's been almost a year.
I think they did it like recently, but they filmed it
Whoa.
over a year ago.
Okay.
So usually there's bombshells that come out, and I feel like this one, not so much. So that was a little disappointing.
Well, I just think that Love is Blind has jumped the shark, like generally, where it was so good in the first couple seasons, and like every season has gotten like progressively worse.
Yeah.
And the whole season there like wasn't really much that was going on.
Well, this is crazy because we just, on Tuesday, we had Lauren and Cam.
Yeah.
And they're like,
my sweeties,
that's
my
who
Shaylas.
I think
they set the bar.
But I think Taylor and Daniel are our Cam and Lauren.
I do too. There's always one couple. I think there has only been one season where nobody has stayed together.
Right.
Well, they're the only people that got married.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be the ones to stay together.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they're very cute.
I just feel like we were talking about, what's the acronym for fear of something better?
FOBO.
FOBO. Fear
For
of
something-
Better
something
option.
better option.
Oh, better option.
Fear of better option.
So both of them are not those types of people, and I think that's why this works. And not to sound like they were settling by any means, but I think that it would be really hard to go on that show, get married, and then this whole world has opened up to you.
Yeah.
Right. It's
You
like the
can
fame
go-
world.
Yeah, you can go beyond Minneapolis.
Mhm.
And
Well,
they
it was like West on Summer House. When he was dating Sierra. And then
Yeah.
it was like, oh, but like I kind of really just wanted to see what my DMs would be like.
Right.
Ugh.
Which everyone's thinking. Just
Which is
don't say it out
fine.
loud, you
Yeah.
idiot. Just don't say it out loud. But I think that's the why they worked. And obviously their core values, they are so adorable. But I take issue with one thing.
What?
The tattoo that he exposed at the reunion of her eyes
Oh, that was so insane.
over his chest.
Yeah, there's a better way to do that tattoo. It was like it was like part of it, like a photograph almost.
Yeah.
Like a square
He
photograph.
took a picture of her.
Doesn't Justin Bieber have that of Hailey Bieber's eyes on his chest? I'm almost positive he does. I'm going to Google it.
Okay, please
he's
Google that.
copying Bieber.
Wow.
There's just a way to do that where you don't have to have the square
The
around
square.
it.
That's what threw me.
Yeah.
It was the square.
Yeah, it's
so
like it's like part of it just looks like a cropped picture.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty
very
bad.
weird.
Well, what I like about them, and I thought it was the funniest, like most relatable thing, is after they got matched, and then she like realized that like he probably followed her on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, this is such a girl mind. She was like,
Oh, sorry. It was Pete Davidson had Ariana Grande's tattoo.
not anymore.
Had Ariana Grande. No.
Her eyes?
I need you to keep talking and I'm going to do more research because I'm not convinced that I have the right answer here.
No, when she was like, oh yeah, and she was like, I'm pretty sure that like you had this picture and you were sitting in a chair in front of a fire in a Christmas tree and you were wearing this. It's like only a girl would f***ing remember such a detail like that.
And do you think he did?
Who cares?
Right.
This is why I think that
But-
there wasn't enough drama in the season because they made that such a huge
Deal.
thing. And I'm like, who cares? What I've heard about Minneapolis is it's like
Tiny
a
town.
big small town. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows each other. All the people in the pods like had friends that knew each other. So it was just like,
It's too small of a town for
Yeah.
them to do it in.
well, to find like
Not that it's a small
decently
town.
attractive, single, ready to get married people.
It's kind of what would happen if you did it in a city like Austin. It's kind of a small, like when you go to that one singles in their 30s, it's really not a huge, they all kind of know each other in a small town way. Atlanta was so good because none of them ran in the same circles. So there was no confusion.
You're getting
There
the chance to meet someone that you wouldn't normally meet.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's my issue with the producers of Love is Blind. So
Can I give you a quick update?
yeah.
Justin Bieber has his mom's eye tattooed on him, not Hailey Bieber's.
Just one eye,
Yeah,
singular?
One eye. Mhm.
Is it in the photograph?
It's right here. It's like right here, but it's
But is it
not
just
in a
the
box.
eye?
It's
Yeah.
just an eyeball.
I
which
have
think makes more
issue with the
sense.
box.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that for the most part, the women stuck together on this. There were moments, but I really Sarah, I like her. I support her. He told her who he was.
Yeah.
He told her in the pods who he was.
Yeah.
She just didn't listen.
Yeah.
Or she thought she could change him.
Yeah.
And this is a common mistake we have all made.
100%.
Every single one of us. You're so infatuated with this new person, and then some little tiny thing, red flag, makes its way into the light, and you just sort of brush it under the rug because you just don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But why do you think she's brushing it if like you're so laser focused? Like the rest of the world is dating.
Yeah.
They have work, they have jobs, they have family, like responsibilities, all this stuff. Like all you have to do is be the best dater you can. So like, oh no.
It was like core values, politics kind of stuff that they clashed on, that like, it wasn't like you're hiding that like you're like a psychopath. It was like just things that like, if at the basis of a relationship, it's like you want to at least be like,
somewhat aligned.
be able to like, or, malleable with each other, where it was like, they were both very, but yeah, he definitely showed her who he was when he was in the pods.
Yeah, she was basically like, I don't like organized religion. My sister's gay and I just find that they're very exclusive and blah, blah, blah. And then he basically said, well, I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girlfriend, you just said you don't want to be around, or I don't remember the exact quote, but it was essentially like the last place you're going to catch her is in a church.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's her prerogative. But he told her.
Yeah.
He said, I go to church.
Yeah.
So anyways, I am sad for her. I'm bummed out, but also I'm mad at the producers because he apparently has this big he was a YouTuber. So why are you going to have somebody come on Love is Blind where you're already suspicious of people's intentions, and for him to have had a business card that he would pass out to people in bars in Minneapolis?
Yeah, it had his like YouTube. It's like, I'm on YouTube with a picture of his face.
And
like
also
his
Love is
YouTube
Blind, was the card prior or after?
Before.
prior.
Yeah, it all came out.
Right.
But
So-
but here's the thing. On Love is Blind now, everybody is going on to be on TV. Like there's no, I mean,
But
I'm
no
sure,
one has gotten famous on Love is Blind other than Cam and Lauren.
This is okay. We're going all over the place.
not
but
The
this is what
Bachelor.
I think, especially from some of the women that go on the show. I think that they think they're going to be like the Jess Vess. Remember Jess Vess?
Yeah.
From whatever
Yeah,
season.
the hot girl.
Because she was the last famous person from Love is Blind. And she
Yeah.
got like mega famous, and then nobody else on her season got famous like at all. But I think that there's like, people are like thinking that maybe they could be that.
If you want to be famous, do not go on Love is Blind. That's not the show.
But it used to be.
But I do think these people know that they don't get famous unless they get married.
Act crazy. Oh.
And I think that's why some of these people
Stay.
I think Devin and Virginia, the reason he's so pissed that it didn't work out, I'm just making assumptions. Him, and then who was the other couple? There was another couple that said no at the altar.
Monica and Joey.
Monica and Joey.
I have thoughts about
I
that.
have thoughts about that. But I think that they know that they have to make it as a couple. And so they get really pissed when they don't, because the women are like, this isn't it. You know, we tried. I love you. Their intentions are pretty genuine. And then the guys are kind of upset about it, but not because they got dumped. I think it's really because they just wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
And I am so bummed out that Joey did not cut his hair before this reunion.
Oh, see, I loved it.
You
I love
can't-
a long hair.
No, but it is a case-by-case basis.
No, I think he's so cute with his long hair.
Wow.
I loved it.
Wow. I was hoping for a glow up.
Oh, see, I think watching him in the pot. Well, he was very goofy, like a little bit too goofy for me, but like that, he is totally the guy that I would have gone for. And I would have been so excited because he had the long, cute hair, beefy boy.
I just want Jared to know, I'm so sorry you're hearing this, because there is no world that you could fall in love with Jared and also say that you would have chosen someone like Joey.
No, I'm saying if I was in the pods and that was my picks of the men in the pods as the ones that were the 5 guys there.
Right. You would have liked Joey's energy, which was quite strange. It was like a Labrador, like a golden retriever.
Frogs,
no, but he's
like weird.
Yeah. And then
I would have gotten annoyed, but I would have liked it initially.
Okay. All right.
But the thing about them is, so they like seemed like they worked because they were both kind of quirky and like they both like really liked each other. And I'm like, I actually thought that they'd be the like one couple that would stay and get married. And then there was the whole thing about her sister that she seemed very jealous and very judgmental. And she's never liked a guy that he has dated. And she seemed like kind of like a bitch. And then it's so funny because after the reunion, it's like we all owe her an apology because she was right.
She was right.
There's this clip that they didn't put in the TV show, but it was a clip with him, his friends, and Monica was there, and she's hanging out with his friends. And his friends are like, it's so weird that he went on this TV show because like he's never wanted to get married. He's been so anti-marriage like this entire time. Like he is never. And she's like, oh, that's the first time I've ever heard about this. And then they go back to like a clip from when he proposed to her in the pods, and he didn't say, will you marry me?
He said, will you get engaged to me?
He said, will you get engaged to me?
Yeah, I noticed that.
And it was like, I'm like, that's the juiciest thing that's happened on the show. And it was like an unplayed clip. Yeah.
She looked so gorgeous.
Looked so good. Glow up for sure.
What a glow up. I mean, not what a glow up, but she just looked stunning.
Yeah.
But I am upset that they didn't get more conversations. I feel like in other seasons of Love is Blind, you're getting more tense conversations between couples.
Yeah.
And they didn't. You know, Monica, they probably should have urged her. I don't like when producers meddle too much, but theirs was just a non-communication entirely. It appeared to be.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen her say to him before the wedding, I don't know if you're not attracted to me.
Yeah, you didn't get that until after.
Yeah, because normally you do get those conversations like in their apartments with them.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen her confront him and say, are you into me? You haven't touched me. Because we didn't even know as the audience that they hadn't really been intimate.
Well, and I think that he said at the wedding, like after it was over, he's like, she's never said I love you before until today. And it's like, well, we didn't know that. And like, we didn't know that he didn't like, from what you see, it seemed like that they were so into each other. So I was like, what do you mean he wasn't like physically attracted to her?
Oh my God. But that happened with Emily Maynard on The Bachelor.
Really?
Do you remember when she won and it was Brad Womack?
Oh,
and like, then it all came out after the fact that she was like, he never was like physically interested in me.
Really?
Yeah.
And
she's literally the hottest.
Not that that's what you need, but.
No. But it's like, you forget that it's such a major component. We always talk about it. It's like, that's why the idea of like, when you're online dating, like I want you to online date and then I want you to meet that person in real life. Cause you need, like you said, Becca, you got to smell them, you got to touch them, you got to love them. Like, I love the premise of Love is Blind, but that's like...
But love isn't blind.
Love isn't blind. Like, that's what makes it... And I guess that's why it's a great show.
It's
because
only,
you want to fight about that.
Love is only blind if you're actually physically attracted to the person that you matched with.
Yeah.
Like,
and the producers do a decent-ish job of selecting people that they think will be physically attracted to one another because they're all sort of in the same like level of attractiveness. I wonder how much longer they can go. I don't want this to sound mean because I really like her. I really like Lauren. I do. I've never seen a woman so insecure in my life with her physical being. Really? She's constantly, I don't know if it's nerves, I don't know, but I just felt for her because I've been there. I know it just kind of felt like, you know how you feel when you wear something that either you're just is like exposing too much skin that you're comfortable with. It's like me in a crop top or whatever.
Yeah.
You just carry yourself very differently.
Yes.
But she's like that no matter what. And maybe it's because there's cameras on her.
Yeah.
Maybe because Dave wasn't giving her a lot of affirmations and telling her she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but it broke my heart. Like when they would go bowling together, her body language just made me so sad. She's so beautiful. Her body's banging. But I was like, if she actually, and I'm not blaming this on her, it's just a lesson to everybody in the law of attraction, kind of. I think it could be why she's not finding her person.
Right. Well, if you don't like your thing, how is anyone else supposed to like your thing?
I totally disagree. I think it was completely him. Like, he reminded me.
No, I think he sucked.
No, but I think she was so uncomfortable with herself because the way that he was like treating her reminded me so much of my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the way that he was like constantly gaslighting her and making her feel like she was the problem, making her feel like unattractive. Like, and they started off the pods. He's like, I work in an aesthetics place. I'm always around like the hottest people.
Yeah.
And it's like for somebody that like doesn't feel like a supermodel all the time, she was probably like, well,
right.
And he was like nagging her before he had even met her. He goes to her, or I don't know if it was to her, but some of the girls that he had met in the pods, he's like, oh, how old are you? And she's like 30. He's like, oh shit, you're already like on
old
the
lady.
downhill, old lady. Like,
but then why'd she pick him?
I don't know. Well, see, that's the problem. Probably because he was so convincing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I just saw so much of my ex in him. And it was just like, I understand the uncomfortability and then also like the need for validation because she felt this connection to him. And she's probably like, what's wrong? Like what isn't connecting? He's literally saying these things to her. He's like, I love you so much. I want to be with you. But then I'm going to leave all night long, go get drunk with my friends.
All my actions are going to tell you otherwise.
And blame everything on you. Yeah. Like that's what their whole relationship was.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's a total piece of shit.
I think that's the way that she was probably reason why she was acting that way.
Yeah.
Way about herself.
Yeah. And I just think it was I hope it's just like to watch body language is so interesting that once you feel confident about yourself or however you do, you carry yourself differently. And like, confident people, you trick them into thinking that you're more attractive. You trick people into thinking that you're whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody else noticed. I'm curious to see if people respond because I almost couldn't watch things with her because I was so sad for her.
My friend that's in reality TV show casting told me that when you cast someone on a reality show, you want them to barely pass the psych test. That's what she.
It makes so much sense.
Said. She said, we look for people that pass the psych test because legally they have to, but like barely. Yeah. And that's how you cast a great reality show. Yeah. So you have to remember that when these people are making these decisions, you're expecting them to make decisions as if they pass the psych test with flying colors. For the most part, there's probably one or two people a season that like did. Yeah. But like, I know for me, for sure, when I was on The Bachelor, like I barely passed that psych test.
You would barely pass it today.
Yeah. And that they looked at me and they were like, perfect.
I think Love is Blind, for the most part, they try to cast normal people and then sprinkle in the crazies. I don't think she was one of them at all. I think they knew when they cast him that he was going to be a real big issue.
Right. Well, and I also think it's like you got to think about like the concept of Love is Blind. It's like they are put in these pots. It's like the whole experiment of it all. Number one, you're like hyper focusing on somebody. You're both love bombing each other. You don't know this person. You think you're in love. You're in infatuation. Like that in itself is not real.
Yeah.
Then you're taking out into the real life. You have the pressure of the TV show. You have the pressure of the cameras and then what people are going to think of you. It's like, I can't imagine anybody being in their like right state of mind and like feeling great about themselves.
Right.
That's why when we had Lauren and Cam on, I was like, dude, like, wasn't it scary? Like, I don't know. Like even when somebody like meant what they were saying and you ended up with them, I like would be so like skeptical just as a baseline.
For sure.
But
it's wild. How did you think Nick and Vanessa did this year for the reunion? Because last year they got murdered.
I mean, they're just there.
Yeah, they're just there.
There's someone needs to move the horse on.
Yeah.
Someone needs to pull the cart. Like,
yeah, they definitely, I would say if Keltie Knight were hosting this, she'd probably ask better questions.
It would have been a better reunion.
Better follow-ups. But, you know, it's just.
It fell into their laps and they are the hosts.
You know, I didn't enjoy them. Well, I guess they kind of had to bring up Lauren's previous situationship. They had to address it, but I guess Nick Lachey is getting some heat because he called it a booty call. Or something. Somebody, I think it was like, him.
Yeah, because then he was like, if you're going to do a booty call before you go on the show, is that okay?
Yeah. So.
But you have to remember, I mean, I would say as a television host, you need to give them grace because they at some point have to do what the network wants. So like if those cards and those producers
But he didn't have to say booty call.
No, that was definitely a
hint. But he's also like a 90s pop star. Like booty call is a cool word for him.
Yeah, but I think he got in trouble last season for doing something else that had something to do with a woman.
Which is so weird because this isn't live. They could have cut that out.
Well, you know, my feelings about him have been totally skewed and not great since the Jessica Simpson memoir. That's all I will say. And that was a great memoir, and he didn't come out looking amazing.
Well, I love Nick and Vanessa. I
like her a lot. She's so sweet.
And she's like, I watched them do press the other day. I don't know. Like, I know they wanted a couple to host, but they should just let her host alone. Because I think she would dig in more. I think she would Andy Cohen it. Because she's been hosting since TRL. She knows what to do and she's fiery. I think he's weighing her down.
She does a much better job.
There's some questions that Nick has to take. And then Vanessa, you take this and Nick takes it. And then maybe that's where the dynamic's off.
But they definitely don't need a couple to host it. It's not like 90 Day Fiance has one host.
Right.
Like, no, it's weird to have a host. I think they were trying to, when they were selling the show, they were probably like, and we're going to have a couple host it. And that makes it so different. Now they don't need that. Nick can stay home, collect your paycheck, be an EP,
They're
whatever.
sharing the money anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But
they also aren't hosting. They come in the beginning to intro it, and then somebody hosts the reunion, and that's it.
Anyway, okay, let us know what you thought. We weren't here for a long time. We're here for a
Good
Love
time.
is Blind time.